I often get asked what you can see in different parts of Norway if you only have a short amount of time. So here's what I believe is the perfect itinerary for experiencing as much as possible during a short vacation, or even a long weekend. Along this route, you'll see fjords, the open ocean, colorful lakes, and rushing rivers. You'll take in dramatic mountain scenery, drive along two of Norway's most beautiful roads, and of course, you'll see plenty of waterfalls. You'll also come across traditional mountain farms and old pastures that give you a glimpse of historic Norway. If you're in a hurry, you could squeeze this route into a weekend, but to really enjoy it, plan at least a week. The full route is about 800 kilometers. So, let's go. The best place to start this trip is the town of Ålesund, since the route runs right through it. Other nearby cities include Trondheim and Bergen, while Oslo is a bit farther away. But the drive from there is still worth it, as the journey itself is filled with stunning stops along the way. Ålesund has, in my opinion, the most beautiful city view in Norway, and you don't even need a cable car to see it. A short walk from the city center takes you to a viewpoint where the whole town stretches out in front of you, surrounded by dramatic mountains and tiny islands, with the ocean in the distance. On a nice day, you could spend hours here. If you want more, you can also hike up smaller hills around town for different perspectives. The town itself is charming, filled with cafes and shops. After a devastating fire in 1904 destroyed almost the entire city, it was rebuilt in the then popular Art Nouveau style. That's why Ålesund's old town is so colorful, with stone buildings full of character and eye-catching details. Leaving the city, head out to explore the surrounding islands. The best views are, of course, from higher up. Conveniently, Nepalese Sherpas built stone stairways here to make hiking easier. No more mud and thickets. Climb the 2,000 steps and you'll be rewarded with sweeping views that can impress even the most seasoned traveler, plus a good workout. But don't linger too long. There are more islands waiting. This coastline is considered one of the most spectacular not only in Europe but in the world. In fact, the road along it has even won awards as one of the most beautiful drives on the planet. You've probably already heard of the Atlantic Road. And yes, this route takes you there. Make sure to drive the full stretch starting from the town of Bud. Stop at scenic viewpoints, and especially take your time at the famous curved bridge. Fun fact, the original plan here was to lay railway tracks, but when the train era ended, cars took over. And if you happen to drive this road during a storm, don't be scared. That's when it's at its most dramatic. After the ocean winds, it's time to head into the mountains, to Innerdalen, often called Norway's most beautiful valley. It's one of my personal favorites, with a stunning lake surrounded by snow-capped peaks. Cars aren't allowed inside, so you'll have to walk. But this is Norway. Walking is part of the adventure. At the far end of the valley, you'll find a couple of old mountain farms where you can stay overnight or enjoy a meal made from local ingredients. Don't be surprised if you bump into a cow or a goat along the way. The valley's star attraction is the pyramid-shaped peak of Innerdalstornet, nicknamed the Tower of Innerdalen. Hiking to the top takes nearly a full day, climbing over 1,000 meters, but the views are unforgettable. On the way to the next stop, keep an eye out for waterfalls right by the roadside. One in particular may surprise you. It doesn't always look very powerful, but it's actually one of the tallest in Europe, second in Norway and third on the continent. In spring, when the snow melts, it truly lives up to its reputation. From there, take a detour onto a smaller local road that Norwegians love. There's a toll of about 100 Norwegian kroner, and much of it is gravel. But the locals say this road shows you all of Norway's beauty in one drive. They're right. You'll pass rivers, waterfalls, lakes, valleys, and mountains. As you climb higher, the landscape becomes harsher, dotted with dams and steep cliffs. The final stretch is the most breathtaking, descending into a valley through a loop-shaped, pitch-dark tunnel. And at the very end comes the cherry on top, Mardalsfossen waterfall. With one of the highest free-falling drops in the world, it's open to the public only 2 months a year, June 20th to August 20th. The rest of the time, its waters are diverted to a hydroelectric plant, a compromise reached after massive protests to save the falls. Continue along the lake toward Ålesund, a small town that's more of a base than a destination. From here, you can either take a gondola to the top of the nearby mountain or hike up about 700 meters for even more views. Don't miss the famous viewpoint along the trail, and if you're up for a challenge, the Mardalsfossen ridge hike is one of Norway's best. A shuttle bus conveniently runs to the trailhead on the far side of the mountain. Next up is one of Norway's most iconic drives, Trollstigen, or the Trolls Road. Many countries have winding mountain roads, but Trollstigen is legendary thanks to its dramatic scenery. Steep cliffs, roaring waterfalls, and hairpin turns. It's a little nerve-wracking to drive, and rockfalls are a real danger. In fact, a landslide hit a car here just a couple of years ago, leading to the road being closed for an entire year. Always check road conditions before heading out, and note that it's closed during the winter. If the road is open, you'll descend straight to the famous Geirangerfjord, perhaps Norway's most celebrated fjord. Stop at viewpoints along the way for incredible valley and river views. The best spot to see the fjord is Eagle's Bend, the highest curve of the Serpentine Road, where the fjord unfolds in all its glory. Geologists warn that a rockslide could one day cause a massive tsunami here, but sensors are in place to detect danger and trigger alarms, so don't worry. Instead, enjoy Geiranger, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You can hike around the fjord or explore it by kayak or boat. From Geiranger, continue up the Serpentine Road towards Stryn, another favorite region of mine. On the way, don't forget to look back. There are several viewpoints where you can still see the fjord, including the famous Dalsnibba viewpoint, where snow often lingers even in summer. As for Stryn, I won't go into detail here since I've made a separate video all about this area. Make sure to check it out when planning your trip. After Stryn, it's only about a 2.5-hour drive back to Ålesund, your starting point. Of course, there are countless more places to stop along the way, but this loop already covers many of Norway's highlights in a relatively short time. Before your trip, cross your fingers for good weather, because in Norway, good weather means good vacations. Or better yet, plan your days according to the forecast. And remember, once you start traveling, it's hard to stop.